Hey everybody, this is Chris Adams. I want to thank you for listening to The Middle. Just want to say this is going to be a little bit different show than the past few that I've done. I've been putting out a lot of crossover episodes because my voice is sounding weird, I think, as you can hear. Kind of had a cold, but I'm getting over that now and ready to do another great interview. The next interview is going to be with Toby Mirashanu, who runs who works for We the Internet and runs a very good podcast called Unsaved Space. Strange week for me. Had a job interview, so I'm about to start a new D job, which will allow me to put out more of these on a weekly basis. I got a brand new show coming up. Please, I will try never to run ads on this. In fact, I would rather you just come see me live. So, if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area, Tuesday, May 2nd, I'm going to be performing at the Lost Property Bar on the Drunken Monkey Comedy Extravaganza. That'll be Tuesday, May 2nd, 8 p.m. That's at 1704 Vine Street, Los Angeles, California, 90028. So please come out to that. That's the best way to support an artist, is just see them live, because that's how we make our money. I don't really make any money doing stand-up otherwise, so yeah, please come out. And as I said before, this has been a bit of a good and bad, bittersweet week, much like life. I got a job. I might be working for another well-known comedian. I'm happy about that. I'm going to be on their podcast as well. But bigger news, I've been trying to promote myself, trying to build my audience, and so I put out clips of my stand-up on YouTube. Nothing crazy, just one to under a minute, preferably. And I put out this one clip, and it's based on a true story, talking to a stepdad that I used to have. And, I use the word fag, but I don't do it in a derogatory way. It's a character based on my stepdad, and it's based on a real story where when he told me about sex, he was like, you better, whenever you go out with a girl, make sure you have some kind of physical contact, like hug her or something, just to let her know that you're interested, or else she's going to think you're a fag. Now, he didn't say that to be derogatory, he didn't say that to be mean, and I'm actually going to play the clip after I talk about it a little bit. But I wake up this morning, I check my email, and actually a friend of mine pointed out on Facebook that the video was removed because of copyright or some infringement, which I don't read all of the terms and services of YouTube, and they do have every right to ban a video, but it got deleted because of the word fag. Now, I understand this is a touchy subject for many people, and many people in these communities, have been called derogatory things, and I have nothing but respect for gay people, but I think as a comedian, I value free speech over your feelings, and I value the truth over dishonesty. Now, could I have changed the word? Absolutely. I could have used a different word, and my current version of the joke is a little less, I don't use that word, but it was at a time in my life where I did, and I have no problems with it. That's part of the development of stand-up. You have to take chances, you have to take risks, and the audience liked it. Here's the clip. You guys judge for yourself.
Finally, I can open up that lemonade stand of weed I've been wanting to open up forever. 25 cents an eighth. I didn't graduate business school. Just letting you know. And it's fucking awesome. But the thing is, I wish people were just honest, because my stepdad's an honest guy. I could talk to him about anything. I was like, hey, Dad, I went on a date last week. And he's like, that's great. Did you get laid? And I said, no. He's like, faggot? That's love. And that's honesty. And you don't find that honesty with this war on drugs. If you do drugs, I would rather you be treated like a person, where they just sit you down and treat you like your dad would have treated you for a pack of cigarettes. It's like, oh, you want to smoke crack? Well, I'm going to sit here and watch you smoke this whole pack of crack. Oh, you're dead now? Faggot.
Now I don't think it was that bad. I think it was pretty tame. I didn't use it in a derogatory manner, and I didn't, was it the best joke? No, I have much better now, but it was a moment in my life, and I wanted to share it with the world. Try and build fans. Come see me live. I can be funny like this. I can be funny in a different way, but I appeal the decision, and I hope they take me up on it. But I try to explain to them that, look, I was doing a character in the bit. It's not me saying these things. I don't agree with that sentiment. Obviously, my whole theory, as some of you might know, is just live and let live. And if something offends you, it's actually just ignore it. It's more powerful. I don't understand why people, when you block something or when you try and censor someone, it actually gives them more power than it does you. So, thumbs down, vote it next time. Just let me know. I'd rather you just say, hey, I didn't like that. I'd be like, all right, fair enough. That was on me. Shouldn't have done that. Okay, cool. But to just have it removed, and hopefully, again, I hope that YouTube will be fair, but what I'm hearing on the internet is they haven't been quite fair. So, we'll see what happens with that. Now, on a brighter note, the new Star Wars trailer came out today. I'm gonna play that right now.
Reach out. What do you see? Light. Darkness. A balance. It's so much bigger. I only know one truth. It's time for the Jedi to end.
This movie is what made my childhood bearable. This and Back to the Future. Those are the two movies that made me happy. And if you guys know anything about me, I didn't have the best childhood to speak of. I was born addicted to heroin. My mother was a heroin addict my entire life that I knew her. She did die when I was 9, but that's that happens. Don't feel sorry for me. That's just part of my life. And we had an interesting life. I came out at 1 pound 7 ounces. I almost died at birth multiple times, in fact, and I managed to survive. Now, when I came out, my mother wasn't really good at taking care of me because she was a heroin addict. So generally, drug addicts are not quite the best when it comes to raising children. And I didn't actually live with her for some part of my infancy or toddler. Apparently, I was living with a foster family. I don't even remember it. My grandmother had to tell me about it years later. And my first memory is actually not with my mother, but with that foster family. But my mother did get me back, and we ended up living together for a very long time. I remember and here's the thing: when you grow up with a childhood that's different, you don't realize it's different. It just is your childhood. So for me, it wasn't anything unique. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't out of the ordinary. I just thought, well, everyone has a mom that is usually high. I'd see her shoot up all the time. Sometimes it would be in crack houses. Sometimes it would be in bathrooms. Sometimes it'd be in, where we lived at the time. But I didn't realize it wasn't normal. And then what happened was we would go out, and my mother would work jobs, but she would never make enough. It was always minimum wage jobs, and she'd steal to make up for the rest. So I remember one time I was with my mother, we were in Payless shoes, and then we ended up stealing shoes from that Payless, which, she was just like, just go now. And I'm like, but we didn't pay for it. And that was my whole, I still had morals then. It's like, we didn't pay for it. She goes, I don't care, we gotta go. And so we ended up leaving that place, and I got some free shoes, and she used me because I wasn't going to get in trouble. And so that was my childhood. Some people throw the ball around with their dad. I still stole shoes from Payless with my mom. That's just how I did it. I ended up working at a Payless years later in my 20s, which I think is hilarious. But, whatever. Full circle, I suppose. Life always comes around. But anyway, so things were always tough for us. We never had enough to eat. We'd never had places to live. We'd be in and out of either apartments or motels, or sometimes we'd be living with a lot of different people. I remember a lot of my childhood, I grew up living with black and Latino families a lot, because those are the ones that would take us in. They were good Christian people. They made sure that we were fed and we had a place to sleep, and that was, to this day, I hold a very special place in my heart for those people. I don't remember all of them, but if you are listening, I want to thank you for keeping me alive. But eventually my mother got out and got her own place, started working jobs a little more regularly, and it was never nice. Sometimes she never made enough. I mean, with a heroin habit, you never make enough. And sometimes we'd have to leave the apartment in the middle of the night. So most of my childhood was spent moving around and never being in one place at one time. Or my mother going to jail for a variety of reasons, drugs, eventually prostitution. She, when you're on heroin, you eventually become a prostitute, because it's the best way to get money to get drugs. And which actually... that's actually what got us out of homelessness. And when I say homelessness, I don't mean just because we lived with other people. I mean, there was a time when we lived in a car, for a while, and we begged for money on the streets. I remember my parents would put me on their shoulder and use me to help beg for money, and I remember those days. And the best moments of my life is when we finally got enough money to get tacos from a great Mexican place, and that was... it's weird. When you live a tough life, you find that the simple joys are actually what make you the happiest. That's why I don't even care about money that much to this day, because I've had the worst times and I've had good times, and really it doesn't matter how much money you have. It matters who you're with. And as long as you're with people that love you and you love them, it's all that's important. All this other stuff, money and status, it's all fake anyway. So, and I still don't care about it. So that's the main reason why I'm offended that my material offends other people, because I'm just telling my life story or my perspective on things, and that really shouldn't be offensive. That should be you can debate it, you can disagree with it, you can not like it, you can not find it funny. I don't care about that, but don't try and shut me down. Just figure out another thing to say. Debate me. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I am more than willing to debate you, because I love debate. In high school, I was in debate class. So, yes, let's debate. Let's do that. But don't try and shut me down. There's no reason for that. But, YouTube has every right to do what they did. It does make me a little upset, and it just happened today. So, I am... a little bummed, but I'm just going to make sure that I edit my stuff a little better next time. And I hope, you support me by coming to see me live, where I will be unfiltered and I won't hold back. I won't be politically correct. I don't believe in that. Growing up the way I did, there was no such thing as political correctness. Life was just tough. Political correctness to me is for rich people. that can afford to be offended. I've never had when you're starving, it's hard to be offended by words. I'm offended by hunger, never words. So anyway, I want to thank you for listening, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope this podcast finds you well. I'm gonna have a one coming out tomorrow. It's gonna be a little more, maybe Sunday actually. I gotta edit it, but it'll be a little bit more, normal format. I'm gonna interview Toby Marichano from Unsafe Space Podcast, which to me is hilarious. That's awesome that I'm going to be doing that. Great guy, great comedian. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and thank you for putting up with me for this update. Thank you for listening to The Middle with Chris Adams. Please subscribe, please comment, please let me know what you thought. You can follow me on Twitter at Comic Chris Adams, Comedian Chris Adams on Facebook, and Comic Chris Adams on Instagram. My website is chrisadamscomedy.net. Please let me know what you think. I thank you so much again for listening. Have a wonderful day.